very welcome, sir. We will resume proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Director of Forestry, Mr. Muhammad Jaiti.
I swear by the Almighty Allah.
I swear by the Almighty Allah.
That the evidence I shall give to this commission.
That the evidence I shall give to this commission.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
But nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
You can wait for the instructions, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Please state your names.
My name is Muhammad Jaite.
Where do you live?
I live in Dipakunda, KMC.
Sorry, repeat the
Dipakunda, KMC.
You are the Director of Forestry?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your title?
Yeah, that's my title, ma'am.
How long have you been Director?
At first for 3 months, then just recently from the 11th of August to date.
11 August to date?
Yeah.
11 August of 2017?
2017, exactly, ma'am.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
You had previously served as Director of Forestry?
Yeah, I've previously served as a Director of Forestry, but that was very brief. That is, from October 2010 to December 2010.
When you left in December 2010, were you still in the public service?
No, I was engaged with the private sector, that is, with the NGOs.
So before October 2010,
yeah,
were you in the civil service?
Yeah, I was in the civil service.
Yes.
Yeah, I started the civil service in 1988 through the Gambian German Forestry project as a field staff. Then after I was working in Kafuta, then in July, August 1990, I left, for 2 years, the diploma course. Upon my return in 1992, I was posted at Kafuta as assistant station officer, and then head of the newly created training and research section. Then 1997, I was promoted to station officer, but as head of the administrative circle of
During this period, you were working for the Department of Forestry?
Department of Forestry, but under a German project. That is the Gambia German
Yes.
Forestry project.
Okay.
Then I was there up to 2000, and 2000. Then I was moved to another German project, that is the Central River Division Forestry project, but under different funding, that is with the KFW. Then I was assigned as assistant, regional officer, in CRR to support the regional forestry officer there, but that is under a different project, but still under the German supported, projects. Then in 2001, due to the geographic nature of the region, it was divided into two parts, CRR South and then CRR South, but by then it was a division, CRR Central River Division. Then I was assigned as the forestry officer there, responsible of CRR North. I was there until 2002. Then I left for studies again, when upon my return from Tanzania in 2005, I was assigned to Lower River, division, by then, as the divisional forestry officer there by then. Then 2006, I was reassigned again to West Coast region. By then it was Western Division as the divisional forestry officer. Then 2007, I was moved to the directorate, now as an assistant unit head, responsible for the designation of community forests, supporting the unit head, that is the participatory forest management unit. Then 2008, I left for my master's. Then when I came back in 2009, then I was appointed as assistant director. Then 2009, around October, I was promoted and appointed as, 2010, promoted and appointed as, the director of forestry. Then 2010, December, I was, unlawfully removed from the system. Then I joined the private sector, that is, the non-state actors. So I was appointed by a Spanish project that is operating between Gambia, Senegal, and then Bissau as a forestry expert. So I was, responsible of all forestry issues under that project, that is, the Sustainable Agriculture and Environmental Governance project. So operating between Gambia, Senegal, and then Bissau. So my office was based at Kerawan, but I do move to all these three countries to give advice on forestry matters until, from 2013 August to 2017 August, when I was recalled by, the new government to come and serve as the director of forestry today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jete. Could you explain briefly the difference between the national forests and the community forests?
Yeah, the national forest, because we have at least 4 different types of forest management regimes, we call them. We have the forest parks, and then now we have the community forest, and then we have the private forest, either being, a natural private forest or a plantation private forest. That is individuals who can own their own forest reserve or forest area, be it plantation or be it, natural forest. So community forests are forest areas that are being designated to communities that have shown interest in the management of forest resources that are very close to their communities, but on their traditional land. Because we have 2 different, tenure system, that is the land tenure and then the tree tenure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The forest parks are gazetted.
Yeah, they are gazetted.
Community forests are also gazetted.
They are also gazetted.
What about private forests?
Yeah, the private forests also, because they are gazetted somehow, because individuals who are interested in managing those, the 2 categories of private forests, they are obliged, to provide a lease document that they own the land.
Sorry, but that is not gazetting.
Yeah.
Are they gazetted?
No, they are not gazetted.
Okay. So the two types of forests that are gazetted,
That are
are
gazetted, yeah, exactly.
forest parks and community forests.
Yeah.
Now you have provided a report, quite short, but with attachments.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I have a copy with me.
All right. I'm going to tender the copy you have. You haven't signed the report. I'll be asking you to sign the report shortly.
Yeah, okay.
The export of timber,
Yeah.
which was the subject matter of investigation, export of timber by Westwoods by license issued by the Office of the President, for exclusive license issued by Office of the President, if I may call it a license. When did the export of timber start in Gambia?
To be precise enough, I think, to put it into at least, a proper procedure or system, I would say around 2007 to 2008, because it was happening, but it was not at the knowledge of the Department of Forestry. It was until when we were given tip-off that, okay, then people were exporting, timber without our knowledge. Then we went to the shipyard, and then we found almost 80 containers there, because it was myself, the director. By then I was not the director. By then I was, the assistant participatory forest management unit head, the permanent secretary, and then the CMC. So
okay, CMC meaning crime management coordinator.
Crime management coordinator, yeah.
Just we're a little short of time, so we need to make it as brief as possible.
Yeah.
When you say it started in 2007, was that legitimate forest exports or not?
That I cannot answer, because I don't know how the timber were obtained, but they were confiscated from them because they were not done in the right procedure.
Did the department or the government allow the exportation of timber up to 2007 when that incident happened?
No, it was not allowed.
It was not allowed.
It was not allowed.
So in 2007, when you confiscated this timber, as you said, tell us, between 2007 and 2014, did anything change which enabled the ex-president to permit Westwoods to export timber?
Yeah, what happened was, after that tip-off, we tried to put everything into order. That is, constituting a committee that will be looking into, the interested candidate applicants who will be interested in the re-exportation of timber, and then we put certain conditions that they should, at least try to fulfill before they are permitted to export, the timber from the Gambia. Then from there, because then we asked them that, okay, then fine. Though the act and the policy, they are a little bit silent about, how it is supposed to be done. But to put things into order, these are the conditions that we are supposed to fulfill. And then permits were not given as an open permit. No, because what happened is the qualified candidates or the qualified applicants, after fulfilling all the requirements, they have to procure the timber, process the timber into cans, and then before loading the timber into the containers, we have a group of inspectors who goes up to the ground to ensure that, okay, then fine, the timber that is being loaded in the containers are in order with what is required. So upon, doing that, then they have to feel there is a template that we created, the number of the container, and then they ensure that, okay, then the container is sealed before it leaves the lockyard. Then royalties also are being collected. So a permit is given upon the number of containers that you can export. That is, if at all during inspection is only 2 containers, the permit will be given for those 2 containers, indicating where the container is destined to, and then as well as the container number. You see, then upon the shipment of clearing of the shipment, then the permit that is given to you is cancelled completely, because a permit is only for a specific activity for a specific period. So you cannot be given a permit which is very open, that you can export 1,000 or you can export whatever just from this period to other period. No, but it's given based on the number of containers that have been, inspected.
If I understand what you're saying from not allowing any exportation of timber from 2007, the export of timber was allowed but controlled in a controlled manner, controlled by the Department of Forestry.
Yeah.
So what happened, what changed in 2014 when Westwood was allowed to export?
Yeah, actually, as I mentioned during my briefing that, okay, then 2014 I was not part of the department, I was in the place. But going through the files, I found out that, okay, then these Westwood and then other companies, were identified. I don't know how, they were going about it, and then the letter was coming from OP informing the directorate about it. You see, because it's not only Westwood. I found out that, okay, then there is a company that was also given the permit. But later, it was Universal Trading from OP. Okay. And this was the 2nd of April 2014. They were given to export 1,000 containers.
Okay.
Which is not in line, with the procedure. And then in 7th of April 2014, they received the letter. And then in June 2014, they identified Westwood to be the exclusive exporter of wood.
So the Universal, this company, what did you call the company? Universal?
It's Universal Trading, 21 Picton Street. That's the address on the
21?
Picton
Street.
Yeah.
So you are saying they did not get to export?
No, they did not. They did not, because so they were given the approval, but later it was received.
By the Office of the President?
By the Office of the President.
Is there any person identified with that company from your file?
Pardon?
Who is Universal Trading? Who are they?
I don't know who they are, but this is a letter from the Office of the President and then copied to the Director of Forestry.
That is the only
yeah, but there is some text here written, I don't know.
Some?
There is text, the letter written to them. It's addressed to Chief Executive Officer, Universal Trading, 21 Picton, Banjul.
Okay. No name?
No, no name.
Name of a person?
No.
All right. That doesn't seem to be attached to the report that the copy that you gave me. Is it attached to the report that you have?
No, it is not attached. It's only,
okay.
When I was going through the closed file.
Okay.
And
all right, we'll take that. We'll be admitting that document. So put it together with your report.
Okay.
So basically, what you're saying is, what Westwood was given, this exclusive permit, was different from the framework or the regime that you had.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So can you tell us, Mr. I've been going through your report, which I'm going to tender, as I said. What was the impact?
The impact of
granting this exclusive export permit to Westwoods?
Because at the beginning, we ensured that, okay, then only licensed, applicants operating sawmills, who have satisfied all the criteria that have been set, are being shortlisted to be issued permit for exportation. But okay, and only Gambians. So when the OP stepped in, then or when Westwood came in, then you will see that all the Gambians were not part of, the people who are supposed to be given the license.
So all Gambians, that's one. All Gambians were excluded.
Gambians, yeah. And then there was no control, in the sense that, okay, then Forestry Department, we were at the mercy of the Westwood. Whatever they bring to Forestry, this is what the Forestry would take. Not Forestry saying, okay, then we were there, these are the number of containers exported, and this is the equivalent amount of money that is supposed to be paid to the Department of Forestry. So Westwood was just coming, paying to Forestry whatever they have decided to pay. And then as well as, because we have this community forest management, okay, then since there is no control. You know, even the community people, they were felling trees that are not supposed to be felled. But because of, I mean, the money that is, I mean, in the whole process, so they were selling timber to, I mean, anybody. So you'll see that, okay, then that frustrated our efforts in, I mean, conserving or, you know, managing the community forest areas that we have, because their operations are based on, I mean, the adopted and approved management plans. But because of, okay, then, I mean, the trade was open, there is no control, each and everyone was just felling. Even people were felling trees that are on their farmlands, perceiving that it belongs to them. Yes, the land belongs to you, but the trees belongs to the state. So you are not supposed to remove those trees without the consent of the Department of Forestry. And then the other issue also was, I mean, it served as a recipe of, I mean, the conflicts. Because most of the wood are coming from customers. You see. Then, I mean, going through the files, I've realized that even the Senegalese government, they wrote to the Gambia government, I mean, expressing their, you know, I mean, their feelings about the way the trade is being conducted, and then as well as the impact that it is having on their forest resources.
Okay, that's the letter exhibited.
Yeah, that is the letter that I have attached, okay, you know, to the report.
Okay, dated 15 July. Is it 2016?
Yeah, let me confirm.
Yes. There's a French letter translated.
27th July, I mean, 2017. Okay. 2016, sorry.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. And then the other issue also, apart from the conflicts, is the loss of revenue, because the Department of Forestry is supposed to collect royalties from, I mean, the movement of these timbers. But you will see that, okay, then the department was not doing that. Instead, it was Westwoods that was doing it.
When the royalties paid to the department after they were collected?
Yeah.
By Westwood?
By Westwood.
They were collecting and paying to you?
And, yeah, and paying it to Forestry Department without Forestry Department confirming exactly whether it is the exact amount that is supposed to be paid to the Department of Forestry. And then, I mean, these are government revenues. They are supposed to be collected by government personnel, not personnel that is, I mean, outside of the system.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry, how much was it over the period concerned? What's the total loss of royalties?
It is, I was unable to trace that, but when I was reinstated, I found out, I mean, an information in the file that Westwood sent to the Department of Forestry with regards to money they have collected on behalf of Forestry, and then they will pay the money.
How much did they pay?
No, they did not pay that money. So what I did was, I said, okay, fine, it is better. I called the one of them, because the information was there, their contact. You know, so I called him and told him that, okay, then from the statistics that you have sent, you are supposed to pay this amount of 316 containers.
In dollars or
no,
Dalasi?
In Dalasi, but it's supposed to be 2,528, 2 million, sorry.
$2 million Dalasi?
2.5 million.
That's what they are supposed to pay?
They are supposed to pay. Yes. So when I consulted them, I told them that these are government money and then you are supposed to settle this.
But that's by their calculation?
No, that is the calculation that they are supposed, they agreed with the
forestry.
With the forestry.
Okay, so that is what is owing and outstanding.
Yeah, that is exactly what they are owing. So I wrote a letter to them. After trying, I said, okay, then I have to write so that it can be documented. And then I copied the Ministry of Justice, the Commissioner GRA, the Maskline and Damas, I mean the Dalmas, you know, because they collected, I mean, the revenue from those people, you know, for the exploitation, so that they can all be aware that, okay, then fine, this is the outstanding balance between Westwoods and then the Department of Forestry, and then they were served this letter. But up to date, they did not settle anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the date of the letter?
The letter is 14th of August, 2017.
Okay. Does your department have a complete record of the containers exported by Westwood?
Yes. We have what I have collected. I think I gave a copy. A copy is being attached to yeah. It is 11,710 containers.
That is different from the record, the record that we have been given, which is 15,000, about 15,000 containers.
From Westwood?
For Westwood, yes.
From Westwood. Yeah, but for us, the statistics that we have is, 11,710 containers.
So from that statistics,
yeah,
and you're saying they have paid and the balance outstanding is what is written in your letter, which you are going to.
Yeah, exactly.
At least from the 11,000.
Yeah, from the statistics that I am having. But now the difference between the statistics that we are having and what they have, the information they have given to you, I will say that, okay, then maybe because they are the people who are doing the exportation. So they are the people who are supposed to get. Are not involved per se. This is why I said there was not proper monitoring and control of the movement of the containers outside of the Gambia.
All right.
So there is a possibility of understatement.
Yeah,
are you saying
yes, on our side? Yeah, exactly.
There is understatement.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make the statistics available to you so that you can do your calculations of royalties from those statistics.
Yeah.
Which you will submit to the Secretariat. But I just have a couple more questions on your report that you submitted.
Yes.
Now, you have made some recommendations, which I'm sure the commissioners will look at.
Yeah.
Thank you. You have indicated that there were community forests annexed by the ex-president.
Yes, ma'am.
How did he annex them? Did he go through the Department of Forestry to annex these community forests?
No, ma'am.
So basically, you're saying he's annexed. You have the report. And Santamba Medina.
Yes. Then the staff, we are not accessing these areas, and then this all these community forests. Then they have been given their of being exclusive areas of those reserves. So upon his intervention, he annexed all these the areas, and some of them I'm sure it's been cleared, partially.
So when you say he annexed them, what exactly?
That is, he took.
What did he do?
He took control of the entire land, both the land and the forest, and then some of these forests, because that's the time when he was this call for back to the land, for agricultural purposes. So some of them we have to reassess these areas again, to ensure that, okay, then either the forests are still existing or the land use have been changed.
Did he serve notice on forestry? How did forestry know that he annexed them? Did he serve you notice or?
No, we are not served a notice or whatever. It's just that, okay, then the staff will be informed that now, okay, then this area is under the president's jurisdiction.
You indicate some 2,118 hectares, 0.3 hectares.
Yeah. And not only that, but also one of our forest parks. Bamba Forest Park is a plantation. Most of the people, they know the area as Nyambai Forest Park, Nyambai Plantation, where we have the Malinas on the way to Brikama. See the southern part of Farato Farm. The time they were doing the fencing, they included the amenity belt of that park. Almost 21 hectares of that area was
of Nyambai Forest.
Yeah, of Nyambai Forest was annexed by him, and then is inside his fence. This was 2009. 2009, the time they were doing the fencing, the amenity belt, was included. And then,
Sorry, what did you call it? What belt?
Amenity belt.
The amenity belt.
Yeah, the amenity belt is where you have the natural forest. Because we ensure that during the time, they were doing the establishment of the plantation, though I was not part of the people who did it. But the composition of the forest had been changed from a heterogeneous forest to a monoculture. That is only plantation, one species. But an amenity belt was left around, the plantation just for research purposes, and then to also serve other purposes like environmental services, and also for the communities to get into the area, collect some herbs, fruits, and whatever, that the forest was serving. You see, so we call it an amenity belt. So he annexed 21 hectares of that amenity belt. And in fact, it resulted now to other people even selling the balance of the land that is left outside, to private resident people. So I was there together with, the minister, and then we found out that people have started building in the forest park. That is the part that is being left out by him. You see, so those are the challenges that we are facing. You see, because he has annexed that area, so the portion that have been left along the amenity belt, now people are also selling that to settle there.
But that's a gazetted forest.
Yeah, it's a gazetted forest park since 1956.
Now, did he fell the trees? What did he do with the area that he annexed?
Yeah, he did not, because I would say part of it, what I have seen just about 3 or 4 weeks back, is still, the vegetation is still maintained. I don't know further inside what had happened, but what I have seen through the fence is still maintained as how it is, because you can see that, okay, there's still, the indigenous species or the forest cover is still there. But that has to be verified.
Can you provide a survey map of the area you claim to have been annexed?
Okay.
Okay.
You mean the total, the forest park, and then showing the annexed area?
However you do it, but just show it. We need to understand what area forms part of the forest park.
Okay.
From the Farato Farms properties that we have looked at. You have provided some revenue figures. You call it the revenue being collected on the re-importation and re-exportation of logs.
Yes,
for
ma'am.
2014.
Yes, ma'am.
2015 and 2016. Are you saying this is the revenue that was paid to the department by Westwood?
Yeah, for the yes, 77,964,000
is what was paid
yeah.
by Westwood?
Yes.
Okay. The issue with Senegal, the complaint is on file. Was it resolved in any way?
I would say no, because we received complaints all the time from our Senegalese counterpart, and then in order to at least cope the situation, we consulted with the security, and then security, a joint force, that was deployed along the border, at the different landing sites to ensure that the timber is no more coming from Casamas, brought in by the farmers there or the local people to the Gambian site, for the exportation. So those those joint forces are along the border.
When was this deployment done?
About 3 months back, I would say.
Not during the time when the ex-president was here?
No, before that.
It was done when he was here?
No, before. No, you mean before the? The
deployment, the actions you said have taken to stop the illegal,
movement of cross-border, yeah.
Yes. When was it?
I'm saying 3 months back.
This is in 2018?
Yeah, 2018.
So in 2016, whilst the ex-president was here, no steps were taken?
No step was taken.
Okay. Now, the last document that's attached to your report It's unsigned. It says proposed conditions for importation and re-exportation of forest produce.
Yes.
When was this document prepared?
This was prepared,
It's not signed, neither is it dated. And who prepared it?
yeah, I found this in the file. It was January 2013. I found it
13?
13, yeah. So I think it was prepared by the ministry also. I mean, because it's not signed, but I thought that, okay, then it may be of interest, you know, so that at least you know exactly the procedures that we are taking before the involvement of, I mean, the ex-president, at least to control, I mean, the trade. You see, and then a committee was formed, I mean, comprising, as I put it, I mean, in the report, of different stakeholders, you know, so that there will be the committee that will be advising the minister, I mean, as to how to go about the trade.
Okay, thank you very much. Could you sign your report? You haven't signed it, and sign the last document on the report as well.
The first page and then the last page.
Yes, if you could sign first and last page, then I'd apply to have it admitted.
I'm also attaching at least the correspondence from OPE to Universal Trading.
Yes, please do attach it.
Yeah.
The other letter that you wrote seemed to be included in your report. Am I correct?
Yeah, it is included in the report that I have submitted.
There's just one impact that you haven't mentioned. What is the impact on forest cover of the interference of ex-president in the forestry sector?
Yeah, it's basically the loss of the forest cover.
What is the
magnitude?
extent? Yes.
No, the extent, I mean, it is very difficult to establish. But I mean, we are planning to conduct another, because we are doing the inventories every 10 years, you know. So by next year, you know, at least we will know whether, I mean, the forest cover has increased or has reduced. But from my own thinking, I've seen that, okay, then because of his involvement, most of the valuable timber, especially the terracapos that they are now exporting, you know, I mean, basically all the stands are gone. You see, you only have the young ones that are coming up. These are the regenerations.
The valuable timber?
Yeah, that is the terracapos, the one they are exporting.
Sorry, the what?
Terracapos, Keno they call it, or Wayne in Wolof.
Okay. Can you spell terracapos? Can you spell it?
Yeah, it's P-T-E-R-O.
P.
P-T-E-R-O-C-A-R-P-U-S. I think it is mentioned in the report, the botanical name.
All right, thank you. This is mainly the Keno.
Yeah, the Keno species.
The Keno
This is what they are exporting to China.
What is the status of the re-export trade? Can you collect the documents, please?
The status now, I mean, there is an embargo. That is, I mean, there is a directive that, okay, then there would be no trade again. Then it is been suspended. I have put 2 documents there. Okay, good. That is it. Yeah, there is an embargo that, okay, then the trade is not going to be operational anymore, because it's affecting the forest cover.
What is I know you've made recommendations, but what is, in respect of this export generally, what is the position of the forestry department?
The position is, I mean, it will not happen.
No more export?
No more export of, I mean, the timber. But okay, then with the new bill that we are having now, or the new act, there is a clause for export of timber, but it has to be in a form of processed, you know, into furniture first, you know, and then you can re-export it, but not the whole log going out of the Gambia. Okay. But I mean, you establish your sawmill, employ people, they at least produce furniture, you know, tables, chairs, and whatever into parts, and then they assemble them, then they send it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jayati. Mr. Chairman, may I apply to have admitted a report from this witness called, well, he entitled the testimony of this witness with regard to the export of timber, and a connected document. can give it to the secretary. Give it to the secretary.
Statement dated 14th March 2018 by witness number 190, Mohammed Jaide. Re. Inquiries on timber that is to say, Keno, Tecopapus, that is the technical name. Pterocarpus. Re-export trade by Westwood and related correspondence for the period 2nd April 2014 to 4th June 2014, admitted in a bundle marked MS 203.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jete, just one question. There seems to be a lot of timber logs, small different sizes lying about, near markets all over the place. Why is that?
Okay, then they are still moving. I mean, after the trade was open, I mean, I think it was open for 3 weeks for them to clear their ground, and then it was closed. Then, they are still, I mean, before the how to call it again, the security people were, deployed to along the border. They started, loading the sites again now with these logs. So, but now the stand is, it is confiscated, and then we have obtained the magistrate order for the department to go ahead, or the ministry to go ahead, and then evacuate all the timber, and then sell it to the local sawmillers who are going to convert them into, the timber for consumption, of the local communities, but not for export.
Thank you very much. I have no further questions for Mr. Jete.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jete. You may go.
Thank you, sir.
I recall the Permanent Secretary, Agriculture, Mr. Hassan Jallo.
What's the name again?
Sorry, okay, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Jallo, you are
Thank you.
required to provide a list of your heads of finance and the persons who served as heads of finance and that dealt with the Japanese rice grant. I understand you don't have it. You'll be required to submit it now to the Secretariat before the end of the week. Could you do that, please?
That information is not under my custody. I don't have that information with me at the ministry. I don't know.
When you were here, you are the Permanent Secretary, Agriculture.
At the ministry, yes, ma'am.
Yes. You should obtain it from the ministry. We expect you to obtain it from your records. The persons who served as
I think that
head of finance. It wouldn't be in your records? Is that what you're saying?
no, we don't keep such records. Most probably maybe it will be kept by the Minister of Finance and the Accountant General's chamber.
It will be kept by?
The Minister of Finance, Accountant General, the Treasury, the Directorates of Treasury.
I'm talking about those who served in your ministry as heads of finance.
Yes, because they are posted from the Treasury, from the Accountant General's office. They are not cadre of the Minister of Agriculture.
But you would have a record, surely, of those who are employees, even if they are coming from another department.
It may be possible.
We did tell you when you were here the last time. Okay. Could you please ask the relevant office in your ministry and extract the information?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And if we can have it by Friday latest, please.
Friday.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I understand you have worked with the investigator to identify relevant documents from your files.
We did, ma'am.
I'm going to show you these documents so we can have them admitted.
Okay, ma'am.